on like so. And then I need to mute. Oh, that is muted. And then I don't need to mute anything else, do I? Mark, do you have an echo or anything? Oops.
1, 2.
No. Where am I streaming? Oh, okay. So it's because for the past 2 weeks I wasn't streaming. Yeah, you know what happened? I had check that out. Oh no, I'll just do it like this. Bam. Can you guys see that? Yep. 500bankruptcy.com. That mean it only costs $500?
It could. It could. It certainly could.
It's all about that.
It could.
Okay. All right. So, guess who I have on my show today? You are not going to believe this. I have the great Mark Dwyer on the show. So this is behind the scenes, and I like to cut up. Today I'm going to try to be good. I really am, because I adore. There are not many people in this world that I adore, but this guy I absolutely adore. So we're going to see if I can keep it all nice. But then how entertaining would that be, right? Okay, so we're going to go in. Mark, I'm going to take 2 breaks. I'm sure you've been on the radio before, but I take 2 breaks. A lot of people just talk. So
that's fine.
First part of the show, we'll just talk about you personally. I've got a little bio here. I'll just pick a couple of things out. And since this is the first time you've been on my show, so to kind of be more personable and things like that.
Wonderful.
Okay, and then we'll talk about this, which is surprising to me because I only know him as a criminal attorney. We might even talk about that a little bit. So kind of make it kind of good. That's that okay with you?
Of course, that's fine.
Okay, good. Because y'all know I like to cut up, and I'm transparent, and I like to keep it real. All right. Ready?
You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Jerlyn Denny.
Good morning, good morning. Wake up and good morning. OMG. It's a good day and it's a great day, and I'm excited. Of course, every day I'm excited, but today is like super extra, extra special. There aren't that many people in this world that I can just say, oh, they have my heart. That I will do absolutely anything for them. I'm like their ride and die. They don't even know it. I pray for them. I hold them to high esteem, publicly, privately. And that's who I have on my show. One of those very few people. Y'all know I am so, so, so in love with my husband. He is like the best man ever. And there's a couple of people, just a few people that I just hold, not quite in that esteem, but they're like my family. So I have Mark Dwyer here on the show, and I consider him family. Nobody knows this. This is like a secret. Did you know this, Mark? Thank you.
Pastor Jay, I know we are close. I didn't know we were that close.
You didn't know we were that close?
But it's all good.
I pray for you all the time.
Oh, praise the Lord.
And I esteem you greatly, not because you're this big time attorney, but you're just real. You're honest. You're down the earth, and you're just extra special. And I think that's what has drawn me to you, where I pray with you so much, because you're that type of person. And you don't find people like you. Did you know that? You probably know that.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm humbled by that, Pastor Jay. And we just, like you said, you keep it real. That's what I try to do with my folk. And I think that that's just the way to be. You know what you have, you know who you are, and you look for people that are similar, and people that are honest. Those are my kind of people.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. So you're here today because I saw something on the screen. I've been wanting to have you on my show, and I saw something coming up on Facebook Live about some bankruptcy stuff, and I was like, Mark Dwyer, bankruptcy attorney extraordinaire. And I'm like, he's a criminal attorney. He keep people out of jail. I mean, what's going on with this bankruptcy thing? Because absolutely, that's how I know you. In fact, I refer people to you all the time. I just referred somebody a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I tell them to say, hey, tell them Pastor Jay sent you. I don't know if they tell you or not, but I refer people to your office quite often, and I hope they call you, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, you will do anything and everything within your power to make sure that they receive the best treatment
No, absolutely. We're going to help them. We're going to help them. And that's what I do. You know, a lot of people don't realize, because of all the caricatures that are put out because of lawyers, that, you know, we actually do help people. And people realize that when they need our help, that we do help people. And I'm happy to help the folk that you send my way. I am going to help them. And that's the main reason why, honestly, Pastor Jay, that I am pushing what I'm pushing now, which is my newest book, is because I want to help a lot more people than I can just help from sitting at my desk. And I want to do that for a long time now.
Okay, so you were born in Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn.
Yeah, what part
Kings
of Brooklyn?
County Hospital is where I was born.
Okay.
But I was raised Wyandanch, New York, Suffolk County. So,
yeah.
you know, that might be the connection, because Brooklyn's in the house. That could be it.
We got the Brooklyn DNA.
You are a family man. You have a beautiful wife. I know your wife. She's extra special. She's quite involved in the community and also with you and your business. And you have children. They're in college. What is that like? You're empty nesting at this point, right?
We have. The nest has just cleared out the last section.
I have one left.
You got one left.
Out of 7 children, I have one left.
I'm going to keep notes for you, right?
You're going to keep these?
I'm going to keep some notes for you. So you just come my way when that last egg has cleared out, and I've got some tips for you. But I'm enjoying that. And I'm wonderfully blessed that I have my wife that is working with me, because she is my life partner. And how nice to have your life partner, your partner in everything in life. I mean, that's just amazing. And a lot of people used to ask, I couldn't work with my husband. I couldn't work with my wife. How do you all do it? Well, to be honest with you, for me, it's just a blessing, because when I leave home in the morning, I don't have to go, wow, it's going to be the whole day until I see my wife at night. I'm going to see her in 15 minutes when I get into the office.
Now, do you drive separate cars? We
do. It's because we have so many things that we have to do during a day, and we're not always on the same schedule. But when we can, we try to ride together when we can, even to lunch or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I was getting to that. You love working with your wife because you don't have to worry about lunch. You don't have to certain things. Does she take care of you in that capacity?
She does.
That's good.
She does. She's amazing, and that's another fringe benefit that comes along with working with someone who. Their concern is more than just dollars and cents.
I like that. And they protect you. They got your back.
Got my back.
And I know your wife. Absolutely. Look, come within a couple of feet if you want to. In fact, she has dissected me. He's one of my close favorite people I'm praying for in those few minutes. But I'm going to say, I'm excited to have you on the show. And this is a joy. But you also sing. Most people don't know that you are musically inclined. You're part of a group. Is it called the Seventh Element? Am I right?
Seventh Element, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but you're good.
Oh, thank you.
You're not just a little. I mean, you good.
Well, that's
If gooder was a word,
gooder,
you would be gooder.
I like that word.
You like that word?
I do. No, you know what? It's not about me. I'm really just a humble person trying to be a piece of the pie. The reason why it's Seventh Element is because we believe that we're just 6 guys, 6 elements making noise, but the 7th element is the one that makes it special. That's the one that you don't see.
Oh, come on now.
It's the element that sees you, though.
Come on.
Right? That's what makes it special. We're just glad that we have an opportunity to minister. That's my ministry. Right. And if I might just for a second, if I have a little license, tell you, I don't view myself as a lot of people identify me as a lawyer.
You're a minister of the gospel.
Right. I mean, what I really am is a minister who practices law.
Come on. And
so I am happy when I have the opportunity, when I'm not practicing law, to also continue to minister with the gift of song. And it's been a wonderful privilege, and to work again with 5 other brothers, 4 of which are actual brothers, and produced a sound that is so unique and special. And it's just really something when you hear from people who will contact you from Brazil or someplace across the world where you've never been. Some guy from Canada covered one of our songs. He did his own version, and you see that and you go, wow. And that's the kind of thing why I say when even talking about this book, there's just the thought that you can reach people in another country, in another part of the world who you've never physically touched, never physically seen, but you can help reach them and give them something that's useful for their life. That's the amazing part of why I felt at this time I really needed to get this book finished.
Okay, let's talk about this book.
Okay, so I've been working on this book for a long time. I've been practicing bankruptcy in Florida here in the federal courts for 18 years now. We're going into our 19th year. And that means, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, I've had the opportunity to go through now 2 recessions.
Wow.
Yeah, one is known as the Great Recession, which we all kind of remember back in 2006 when.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the Great Recession, the worst economic time since the Great Depression. And then here we are, 14 years later, which is actually kind of a typical cycle. We're experiencing another one because of this pandemic. Well, after the first Great Recession, I knew there were a lot of people that needed help that to restore themselves and put themselves in a position where they can continue to enjoy things, buy things, make major purchases like homes, and really be able to plan and save for retirement.
Well, you've been talking about this book. What's the name of the book and how can people get it? Let's get that out there and then we can go back to it.
Yeah, it's accumulation, and the name came from accumulation of 2 main problems that I saw with people experiencing financial stress. So the name of the book is Divorce Your Debt.
Man.
Keep Your Spouse.
That is true. When it comes to marriage, financial issues top on the list. A lot of people want to break up, split up, kill each other over money.
Well, that's exactly right. And I talk about this in the book, just to give a short synopsis. Financial problems could probably, if you look at it scientifically, maybe the major reason, other than something like adultery, that couples split. And because when you are unequally yoked financially, it creates problems on a number of different levels. A lot of times you have one spouse who's the frugal spouse. They grew up learning to save. They've got goals. They've got plans. They want to work towards that save. And then the other spouse has no financial discipline. And so now they start looking at that spouse as actually an impediment to reaching the dream, right? As opposed to a helpmeet in that regard. And that creates stress. And so the spouse that's responsible might eventually think, I probably could do better without that other person. And then that leads to discord, strife, and often divorce. Here's a statistical fact. After each recession in this country, the divorce rates have gone up.
Wow.
So that's not just a coincidence. That's a pattern. And it makes perfect sense. So this is what we're trying to do. If we can eliminate the financial stress from people, eliminate it by good planning, facing the issues and coming up with a strategy of how to deal with it, and discipline. And of course, if it's too late, if we've already gotten financial stress, then getting a fresh start. If we can address that, I think we can definitely save more families and have people with just a brighter outlook, which also helps them to have better health.
All right, we're going to talk about that with attorney Mark Dwyer when we come back from the break. Listen, we are divorcing our debt today, not our spouse. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Okay. All right. So we do have people watching. So go ahead and tell them where they can get the book.
500bankruptcy.com.
500bankruptcy.com.
Yeah, you can actually get a free copy there. I've made the book available. I really didn't, write the book to make money. I wrote the book to get information out. So you can get a free copy of the book if you go out to 500bankruptcy.com.
Mark, I need you to go on YouTube. Found who sings that song? Money, 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 money.
Kool and the Gang.
There it is. See, I know you know. He's a music guy. I have no clue. If St. Clair was here and my hubby was here, he would know.
He would know.
Oh, yeah, he got it going. You know what I did for Valentine's Day while he's looking that up? I went online and put together a compilation of all these oldie but goodies, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Back in the day, I did Eric B. and Rakim, Shaka, anybody I can think of, and found these videos where they kind of sung along in the now time. Mm-hmm. To this song. He just loved it. That was my Valentine's gift. I did a personalized Valentine gift. I'll have to pass those. It was really nice. It was easy because I kind of found them on YouTube, but he loved it.
We get so busy, that we don't remember just how good the music was.
The music was
in
awesome.
The 70s, really in 80s.
It was, yeah.
I count us as really one of the last lucky generation because after the 80s, it went downhill.
Oh, yeah. He was like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe that's how he looks now. So it was really good. It was actually, I'm going to do a plug in. I hope he's a nice guy. DJ Cassidy. pass the mic. So he's a DJ. He start playing, and he passed the mic from his house to their house. So they sang along with the tune.
Oh, that's cool.
It is super cool. So,
cool.
Just seeing people, I mean, it had anybody and everybody that you could think on. I mean, Bobby was on there. I mean, it was New Edition. It was just different groups, different people in the time. Some older, some new. It was really nice.
That sounds
it was
fun,
cool.
man.
So actually, if you go on my Facebook, I put a couple of pictures. He got up off the couch a couple of times and was just rocking. I mean, before you know, he going, hey, ho, hey. I'm like, sit down, buddy, sit down. He's like, I can't believe you put me on Facebook, but that's what I did.
You start talking Eric B and Rakim, you get me excited.
I know, man.
Move the crowd.
Yes, Rakim came on. He had his hat on. It was really good. He was on there. He was good.
That was my man.
It was really nice. And my sisters dated him back in the day because that he's from Wyandanch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of from that area.
I was going to ask you, when did you leave New York? How old were you?
I was young, but I went back every summer, and then my sister was still in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So we went back all the time. All my clothes still came from New York because when you move.
Hey man, we know where to get good clothes. We know where to get.
We never shopped. We used to go back and forth. So my mom actually bought a house.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget because I was still young, about to get ready to go to middle school, and we used to go back and forth, and it was good for a while anyway. Then we just stayed and became Southerners, I guess they say. But I don't miss it though.
New York?
Yeah, well, I miss it for some things. I didn't realize there was a crack house on every corner when I lived there back in the day.
Yeah,
that's when it was bad,
Yeah, that was kind of 90s when late 80s, 90s when crack became a real issue.
Yeah, it was 80s.
Before they started cracking down.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Jack City.
Yep. Oh, I had talked about that last week on my show. Yep, that was nice.
That's right when crack was cracking. But
but my brother moved back up there. He lives there. My grandmother lives there and stuff. But I consider myself a Floridian now. So
I hear you. I've got another year, and in one more year, I'll have been in Florida as long as I was in New York. 26 years.
Yeah, I've been in Florida 20 years.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So
I've been in Florida longer.
So if you're calling yourself a Floridian, then I should already be calling myself. I'm 25 years in.
Yeah, I've been in Florida 20 years, so I'm officially.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Well,
this is the longest I've ever been anywhere.
Let's put it this way: I wouldn't be moving back to New York. So I think I agree with you.
Okay, are you ready? I need a phone number for you. That's a good number. Is it this number, the 445-8900?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. All right. Where are we on that song? Where are you going to start it? Okay, yeah, you can start it there. Back it up a little bit. Because I'm going to talk during that, but I still want the money part to come in. Okay. And then right before they go, some people got to have it. We can just cut it right at that point because it's really not about that. I just want to do the money part. Thank you. He has represented landlords and tenants, employers and employees, creditors and debtors, husbands and wives and home builders, buyers and sellers. But today we are talking about divorcing your dead, not your spouse, with attorney Mark Dwyer. I mean, woohoo! We're talking about how you can relieve your stress because it's affecting your health. We are talking about how debt stress and the effect on your family, oh my goodness, and how you can delay your dreams, how important it is. So I want to thank you again for being on my show. And again, those who are just tuning in, he's one of my favorite people, for real, seriously. I only knew him as a criminal attorney. Oh, there go Pastor J. Yep. He was actually I still consider him my attorney. People have questions. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're just flattering me. So that's how we met. I was on these trumped up charges, and you probably thought I was psycho back then because I was pleading the blood of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? I was, wasn't I?
Do.
I was like, it's a lie. The devil is a liar. I don't care what they say. No, it wasn't me. My name is Bennett. I'm not in it. And you were just as quiet. And I was like, no, we taking him down. And you was like, no, just be cool. And I would call you. That's not right. You're like, be patient. I'll never forget you telling me and instructing me to how I need to be patient. When you talk about a ministry, you absolutely helped me through that. And I was pleading the blood of Jesus the whole time. In fact, I was like, you see stuff on television and you go, that's how it is. But that's not real when it comes to how it is. TV don't depict the truth.
That's true.
And thankfully, especially in my case, the evidence was there. Charges was dropped. I didn't have to go before a judge, didn't have to go to court, didn't have to go any of those things. But I was ready to do it now. And you was like, nope. Mm-hmm. Just let it sit for a second. Do you know people still hold that against me?
That's the society we live in an information age. You know, we make up our mind a lot of time before we even know the facts.
And I go, wow. And it doesn't bother me. You know why? Because the stuff I did do that's under the blood. Thank you, Jesus.
Covered.
Look, they don't know about that stuff. Look, if they want to hold the stuff I didn't do against me, I'm okay with that.
Amen.
So let's talk about this bankruptcy stuff, because a lot of people are considering bankruptcy even now, but they're not sure if they should do it. Why do you think it's important now that you've got this book? Why is it important right now to have this conversation? Because families are falling apart. Do you think that may be the main reason?
Absolutely. It's a major factor in a lot of breakups or money problems, either not having enough money or having it and misusing it. Mm-hmm. These are the things that create stresses on families because, let's face it, we live in a materialistic society. You know, when your kids come home and you're being financially responsible and they come home and Johnny's got an iPhone 12. Mm-hmm. What am I doing with this Metro PCS? All right. That puts pressure on parents. And so we're all reaching towards this, what society says everyone should have standard. And quite honestly, sometimes that's unhealthy. And it makes parents mm-hmm. have to go to work and work extra jobs that maybe they don't have to work. And then now they're not there for support and emotional support and time for the children. It's just a cycle, and it's a bad cycle. And what we find is that people that eliminate financial stress, it sort of has a trickle-down effect on everything else, because now those stresses don't subliminally affect other things in your life, which sometimes you don't even realize it's affecting you. Mm-hmm. So when those bills are coming in and you're looking at them and maybe you don't have enough to pay them, you don't realize it, but when you're yelling at your husband the next day, some of that is just stress that you're carrying over from that situation. Mm-hmm. But now, your husband didn't put the seat down properly.
Right.
That's a big problem now. It's just, that's the way it works. So here's the deal. It's known, even God knew this, mm-hmm. that carrying in debt for too long on a person, it was not good. It's not good for society. It's not good for a person's individual health. That's why God laid down, I don't know if you knew this, but God laid down the first bankruptcy code. Did you know that? Read my book. I'll show you exactly where it is.
Sure did.
I'll show you exactly where it is. But, God recognized.
He even established that 7 years.
7 years,
That's
right.
Right.
All right.
Uh-huh. Come on.
I know you knew that. You're a pastor. I know you knew that.
I know a little something. But you're a minister of the gospel, so there you go.
Yeah, so we got to get free of debt. That's the bottom line. It's better, of course, obviously, to not get into it in the first place, real debt problems. But most people get there because they get there before someone was there to tell them how not to get there. Mm-hmm. Credit cards are offered free. The creditors, they're now innocent parties in this, by the way.
Right.
All right. They're out here giving people credit that they can't afford, right?
Mm-hmm.
And too much. And then naturally, they're expecting you to use it. And that's what people do. And then one thing happens, a bad thing happens. And a lot of times it's something that they didn't even do. Like, for instance, the subprime crash.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't responsible for that.
That's true.
I didn't create that, but I had to suffer. Mm-hmm. through it. And so now jobs are lost. Somebody loses their job. A company shuts down and lays them off.
Illness.
Sickness happens, what have you.
Yeah.
And now that bill can't be paid. And now the credit card companies, instead of helping you out, how they help you out is they jack up your rate to 30% or more and add
that
penalties.
Doesn't help.
Right. So now you get caught in a cycle that you can't escape. So the key is escaping the cycle. If a person is in a cycle they can't escape because either they're never going to make enough money to bite into this debt, they just have to consider making a fresh start, because that fresh start means you can start again from the bottom, from zero. And just the same way that person was able to build their credit the first time, they're going to be able to build their credit back up to a great score again.
But how do you get rid of the stigma of bankruptcy? Because a lot of people go, oh, I don't want to do that. It's a shameful thing.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, Lynn? What I found is that the older generation has this stigma. The younger generation are not as stigmatized. And who knows, maybe it's the fact that they have seen on the news and heard that even, our president has filed multiple times, filed bankruptcies. But he's a smart man. He's a businessman.
He's a businessman.
As we see bankruptcies being filed all the time, JCPenney has had to file bankruptcy, right? We just saw Belk file bankruptcy. So if these people, these intelligent, smart people, know enough to file bankruptcy when it's needed, why is it that individuals feel like there's some stigma attached to it?
That is true. Now, is it expensive to declare bankruptcy? And I know there's different types of bankruptcy. I'm going to have you back on my show because I really want to go more in depth with this. And this is a short show to do that. But is it expensive?
No, I wouldn't say expensive, but it's certainly there are costs. There's a lot of work that's involved, and so there are costs. But to be quite frank, if a person is in poor enough economic shape, in other words, if their income is below a certain amount, there really literally could be no cost. Obviously, if you get professionals to help so that it's done right, and that's what we're there for, to make sure things get done right, get done efficiently, and hopefully move a case through. But you don't have to have an attorney to file bankruptcy. It's just the idea, do I want to get a fresh start? And then you decide how smoothly you want the process to go. But you don't have to pay an attorney.
All right. Well, I've got a question because someone sent this question in to me. If someone declares bankruptcy and does not declare all of their debts, for example, alimony owed to a former spouse, let's say a credit card, which is in both names, is there consequences, and what are they?
Yeah, that would be too long for me to answer that full question, but let's just put it this way. The way the bankruptcy code is designed, it discharges debts. So whether you disclose them or not, it discharges them. But if you don't notify someone who's owed money that they're about to have their debt discharged, then they could theoretically come back and ask the court to accept them from a discharge because they were never given notification. Okay. So you want to follow the law, and it requires
what you want to do is call 386-445-8900 is what you want to do, and call attorney Mark Dwyer, make an appointment so he can actually answer that question.
That's a better idea.
That's a better idea. Okay, so here's another question. If one does declare bankruptcy and their debts are in both their names, does the former spouse end up being responsible for that debt? That's a good question.
That's a really good question, and the answer is simple yes. If the debt is not discharged as to them, then that creditor still has a contractual obligation to be able to collect that debt from the non-filing or non-discharged spouse. So yes, it would still exist, but it would only exist to that spouse.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Okay. Well, you're going to have to go to 500bankruptcy.com to learn more, or call 445-8900. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. That was the best music. Someone say, great attorney, awesome guy. Notice how I'm having to wear my readers, right?
Yes. I've noticed that. I do.
Okay. Because you're making me feel like I'm going to be something years old this year. It's a big one.
Is it really a big one?
It's the big one.
It's the big one?
It's the big one.
I'm willing to bet your big one is lower than my big one.
It probably is. My husband's older than I am by a few years. And my husband thinks the world of you too, by the way.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. Thank you for asking me about him, because I didn't get a chance to tell him he was going to be on my show, because he probably would have had some, some crazy, funny questions.
That's true.
No telling. All right. How much time do I have, Mark? 3 minutes. What is it that you want to cover that we haven't covered that you think is important? Me, I'm still trying to get the 500bankruptcy.com, your phone number, those things out.
All right. So let's make sure we get those in.
I can do that. That's not an issue. But what is it that you want to?
I want to get out that the people that really should go and get the information is not just if you are at the brink, financial brink right now. The information I'm putting out there also helps to keep you from getting to the brink. So
Oh, I like that.
it's not just folk that are there.
Okay. Okay. Y'all
It's
hear
to
that?
help people to relieve financial stress. And this is just, the bankruptcy is just one tool.
Right.
That's very helpful if you're already in that situation.
Sounds like a plan. Okay. We'll talk about that when I ask you any last thoughts. I'm just going to need you to do that one again. You want to put your 500bankruptcy.com on one more time because your screen went black? Boom. In fact, let me type it in right here. I'll type it in when I can put it down before I delete it. How about that? I don't know of any other good money songs. That's the only one I know, Mark.
And those guys are still getting paid.
Mark, you know that song? We need our money. That's what.
Which one? I don't know. Who's the artist in that?
Yeah, she's gonna find out the artist. So while she's finding out the artist, because I like to do different things with my radio show, Mark is absolutely the best. It must be a Mark thing because you see, I customize stuff. I come here like, Mark, I need it. Mark, I need that. It'd be kind of cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Keeps it interesting.
Listen, that's just a name given to great people. I mean, I know I have at least one witness.
Oh my goodness. The fact that you guys spell it with a C and not a K, that's distinguishable.
Absolutely.
He's one of my favorite people too.
Yeah.
He is.
And rightfully so.
He really and truly is. I remember when I've been on the radio now. How long has it been? 6, 7 years? 6 years at least? But I've had my own show now for 3. So I'll never forget because I co-hosted another show. Did you find it? 4 years? April before. I need to have an anniversary party or something. I'll never forget my first show. I was like, Mark, I don't know how to do this. You'll be fine. I was like, yeah.
It's not as easy as people think.
Yeah.
But sitting from over here, you can tell when a person has gotten comfortable with, doing radio stuff.
Right.
And believe me, when you're not someone who does it, it becomes very imperative.
But you make it easy though.
You just
You make it easy. When I have a guest on the show, they give me those one-liners. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a long show.
Right.
I have to make up something to say, figure it out.
I think everybody knows I don't have any problem
That's
talking.
why we'll have to have you back on the show. In fact, I may just do like a money series or something, and once a month, just have, even if you can't come back or something, we'll think of something like that. Because I'm doing something else about race relations. I'm going to start doing on a monthly basis. So just some things to help people. My radio show is an extension of my ministry. So
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, it is.
This is actually a good segue and a good place to leave off with that in mind, is that, there are a lot of things people need to consider. Financial health is
Yes.
really important. And that's, to me, this is just a part of that.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a part for people that are already unhealthy. But as we said, we're going to talk about also
Yeah.
a plan to be healthy from the beginning.
Yeah, because I am a
As a-
bargain shopper. There's a way to save money. I mean, and that's not spending a whole lot. I can take $20 and make it seem like I spent $200. Seriously.
You need to have a series just on that. It's interesting. I was listening yesterday to NPR. They said that Burlington, right, which doesn't call itself Burlington Coat Factory anymore,
Okay.
Has virtually almost recovered back to pre-COVID.
Right.
While all these other stores are going down and filing bankruptcy and going to business, Burlington is almost back to regular full operation because
Wow.
people are.
My husband was out of work from March till November, and that's a long time. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October,
Yes.
November. Yeah, that's a long time. That's, oh my goodness, 9 months almost.
Yeah.
For 6 months of those 9 months, we didn't skip a beat. We were eating filet mignon, and we were having ourselves a ball. Everybody else was freaking out and panicking. I made a shooting range in my backyard, and we had BB guns. I mean, we just had a ball,
Well, that's what you should do.
and it's
As you
because
should do.
I had a little bit of money here, had a little bit here, and this was paid up in advance here, but those last 3 months were tough. But I did do good. We did well for 6 months.
Nobody.
And my
plans
filet
in.
mignon was, I got it on sale.
I said you made it yourself. You grilled it yourself. Okay.
I would go and grow a steak.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. All right. What was the song? You get it? You got it? Oh, I like this. All right, we got to get to the, you guys hear this? Because, I got to do something different.
That's going to energize this last
I
segment.
know. This is... Can you hear it?
Is the money in the hook?
It's in the, okay.
5 cents, 10 cents he's talking about. All right. So that's probably the section there you want.
Oh, I like that part. We'll do that. Okay. Cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I got to give a shout out to my sponsors. Hint, hint, wink, wink, wink. I could sure use a sponsor, which, by the way, I got to tell you about my sponsors because, they sponsor my show.
Right.
So one of them is Steve Verrier at FloridaMortgageCenter.com. And before you refinance your house or buy a new house or a business or anything, you got to call Steve. He's the one that puts the money in your pocket before you go see the realtor. He's that guy. He's the money man. Y'all hear that? So you got to call Steve Verrier, FloridaMortgageCenter.com.
Okay.
And then the other one is, you're always looking for that play in the stock market. You got to call TradeCoaches.org. TradeCoaches.org. Yes.
Okay.
You get
Okay.
it? I came up with that little tagline. Looking for that perfect play in the stock market. Call TradeCoaches.org.
I like it. I
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
See?
Trade coaches.
Yeah, one of the co-founders of that organization is getting ready to come off his full-time job and has started out and been able to replace his income in 2 days type
All right.
thing. So,
well, it's a good time for that right now. Stock market's doing very well.
Yep. So he started during this crazy time during COVID. So that's not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ready? That's not good. Yeah, that's too much. We'll have to back. Want to give a shout out and a thank you to my sponsors, the FloridaMortgageCenter.com and TradeCoaches.org. Listen, you don't want to go and start off doing things crazy. You want to get money in your pocket and have somebody that's going to help you buy that house and someone that's going to help you make that great play in the stock market. And then we've got somebody here in the studio that's going to make sure you spend your money well. Because, bankruptcy attorneys, they offer advice prior to people getting to the part of bankruptcy. Am I correct? So
Right.
They could call you at 445, let me start that over, 445-8900, or go to 500bankruptcy.com and get more information, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. My book was written, of course, I'm a bankruptcy attorney, and that's where I have a lot of knowledge of dealing with creditors and creditor problems. But what's in the book is not just for people who are on the verge of bankruptcy. So I want people to understand this. What I've put in there is really an understanding of just the whole capital and debt system so that people who are not in problems can know how to stay out of problems and how to do proper planning and to understand the nature of debt and the nature of the cycle that these predator creditors put people in.
Oh, I like that. Predator creditors. That's pretty cool. Did you coin that phrase? Or did you?
I need to trademark that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll use that.
But the reality of the matter is the creditors understand the nature of debt and they understand finances. And unsecured credit card debt is one of the biggest transfers of wealth from poor people to the rich that this world has ever seen. And most people don't understand that it's that. So when you buy something like, for instance, you don't have the money to buy it and you see President's Day sale, ooh, it's 10% off. So you go and you buy it, but now you put it on your credit card, but your interest on your credit card is 20%. So if you don't pay that off right ahead, you're still paying more than what it was at full price. And worse, if you're just making the minimum payments, the creditors make these minimum payments to keep you paying.
Man, I remember back in the day, that Sears credit card, you pay that minimum payment.
Yeah.
You pay 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years you still paying on that credit card. I don't have a lot of debt, thank the Lord. I do not. But it took me a point. Now I'm just working on, building my credit and getting things together. But I have enough saved to pay off every credit card I have.
Yeah, that's where you want to be. You want to
which means
understand.
I don't have a whole lot of credit card debt because I ain't got a whole lot of money. I'm just
people need to understand this.
Do.
Young people need to understand it. People that are just starting out their lives together, just get married, they all need to understand.
And I
this
pay
nature.
mine off every month. Too.
Yeah, that's
I do.
That's what we talk about. That's what we talk about. So
but I just got here, so it's not like I just there she go. No, it took some bumps and some bruises and just some wisdom and just being able to recover. And like I said, you can save money a lot of ways by just freeze your credit cards, cut them up, think of something else to do, take up a hobby.
There's definite way and there's definite strategies. And if you think about interest, that interest is much better used in your pocket than in the pocket of some rich bank. Mm-hmm. So that's why we really want folk to read. Again, you have the ability at 500bankruptcy.com to get the book for free.
Free. Hold on. He said free. Now, y'all know what I say. If it's free, it's for me. So if it's for me and it's free, it's for you as well. Make sure you go to 500bankruptcy.com and get this free book.
Yeah. The free 99 price is my favorite price. And so I just want to make sure that, this information is available, accessible, because we want to help people. To be honest with you, I'd love to put myself out of business. If people read this book and follow sound financial principles, not only will, my practice of bankruptcy not be needed as much, and that's fine. I have other things to spend my time doing. But also it would just change the dynamic. Creditors will have to be more responsible. They will have to be more competitive, right? Because there'll be less people that need those predatory services. And so even overall, the whole system would change when people just operate in a more financially sound way.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being my special guest. You are a friend to me, a friend to the show. You're welcome back anytime. In fact, I want to invite you to come and co-host. So if we're talking about, beans and rice or whatever, because I talk about anything in this show, you want to come and co-host? You are more than welcome.
Rice and peas.
Rice and peas. That's it. Rice and peas.
Rice and peas.
Rice and peas.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. You know what I say? Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? Today, you're going to go to 500bankruptcy.com. Check it out. Get your free book. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Don't forget to go to 500bankruptcy.com. Oh, I want to tell you, too, at 3 o'clock today, I am going to be on Dr. Alveda King's show. So please follow me or whatever. I don't know what platform I'm going to be on, but I will make sure it gets on my news feed.